You want to put some gloves on, man? You want to spar? You want to put some gloves on right now? Get this man some gloves.
A few weeks ago, everyone was talking about a Jeet Kune Do versus Wing Chun video that went viral. And after I posted about the fight, the whole thing made me reflect on the things that I've learned during the short time that I spent studying Wing Chun. I came across this line from the Tao of Wing Chun that said, if he's clever enough, a good Wing Chun practitioner can walk away with a win-win situation without any punches being thrown. In that viral video, it's hard to tell what the actual outcome was. Master Herkul has been pretty cool about it, but we'd have to find where Waldo is to find out if he learned anything from the experience. I think they could have resolved things without it coming to blows, but the truth is that sometimes you can't resolve every conflict peacefully. Sometimes you have to stand up ready to defend your castle. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. I want to talk about how Wing Chun fights are not like what you see in the movies because, well, I feel like a lot of people have this big misunderstanding when it comes to Wing Chun.
I do the stuff for the street.
What's up, y'all? My name is Prince, and this is Goldenbell Training, where it's my goal to promote Chinese martial arts and encourage y'all to become better martial arts athletes.
And every day, I practice martial arts.
This video, we're going to revisit the backyard brawl where it was Jeet Kune Do versus Wing Chun. And I'm going to use the confrontation between Master Herkul and Waldo to begin a series of videos looking at the problems that I see with Wing Chun. Now, if this is your first time here, then you probably didn't catch my breakdown on what happened between Master Herkul and Waldo. And if you want the full rundown, you should check out the video where I covered everything already. Now, Master Herkul commented on the other video that I posted, and he said that this kid who everyone has been calling Waldo is actually about 34 years old, and he was invited as a guest of one of Master Herkul's old students. And Waldo, he was having these little side conversations throughout Master Herkul's lesson that day. He said that Waldo was being very difficult throughout the 90-minute lesson that led up to the confrontation that was captured on the video. And before everything that was captured on video, Waldo had been hitting the punching bags and kicking the wooden dummy. So when Master Herkul gave Waldo the floor to show his stuff, well, he was already anticipating that things might get hostile between the two of them. Now, after Waldo was asked to leave, he attempted to file a police report, and the police report made Master Herkul the victim, and Waldo was named as the aggressor because of this move. Now, what happened was it's an invitation for a physical confrontation as you're invading someone's personal space, and that's based on the local laws where they are in that part of Southern California. Now, in my video, I said that things looked really ugly, and it reminded me a lot of the fight between Master Herkul's teacher, William Chung, and the fight that he had with Emin Bostep. But what I meant was that it was not a graceful moment for Master Herkul or for traditional Wing Chun. The truth is that if you teach martial arts long enough, you're probably going to have some situations where you have to deal with difficult students. It's part of training. And these are learning experiences for us to learn and to grow no matter what level you have or what rank you might reach. Now, in that video, when it hit Facebook, the Jeet Kune Do people were saying that Waldo didn't show any Jeet Kune Do. And I commented in my video that, well, I don't feel like Master Herkul didn't show any Wing Chun. Now, I was being very tongue-in-cheek with that remark because the truth is that even if Waldo has any actual Jeet Kune Do experience and training, he didn't get to show any of it because of Master Herkul, because he was completely controlling him, meaning Master Herkul did display his Wing Chun skills. Now, I know people feel like this fight is proof that Wing Chun is pointless. None of that stuff works. There was no trapping and no chain punching and all this other stuff. And my response to that is that if you feel that way, well, it's probably because you don't know what Wing Chun is. Wing Chun in a real fight is not the stuff that you see in the movies. Wing Chun is not trapping and chain punching people like you're Donnie Yen fighting against 10 karate black belts. Look, I talked about everything that I'm saying right now in a video I posted 2 years ago called Chasing Hands is Bad Wing Chun. The reason you can't see anything that resembles Wing Chun in the fight is because Wing Chun isn't all this stuff that people do in the movies. Real Wing Chun is something you have, and it's in everything you do once you have it. Wing Chun isn't about looking like Donnie Yen or Dennis To. or Yuen Biao and these Wing Chun movies that are popular. Wing Chun is about applying the principles in a real fight. Wing Chun is about developing the proper structure so that you embody the principles. All that sticking, trapping, and chain punching stuff, it really doesn't matter if you don't have the proper structure and elbow power behind your movements. And quite frankly, these Wing Chun people out here getting beat up in these viral videos probably have no structure. They wasted too much time playing with the dummy and making viral Douyin videos of choreographed routines and thinking their sloppy chi sao would make them a real fighter. Master Herkul tossed Waldo like a rag doll and completely dominated him regardless of what a lot of people might think of traditional Wing Chun. I mean, a few decades of training is going to give you a solid Wing Chun foundation and structure that'll be part of everything else that you do. So Master Herkul actually did use Wing Chun to destroy this alleged Jeet Kune Do kid. And I owe Master Herkul an apology for presenting a case against him, but I was trying to criticize both of them in the other video to really talk more on the problem with showing up to challenge the teacher. Now, I mentioned that I used to study Wing Chun just south of Master Herkul in San Diego, and that was back when I was stationed at Coronado Island in the Navy about 15 years ago aboard the USS Mighty Ronald Reagan. Now, I never witnessed this incident I'm going to tell y'all about, but I heard two stories about my Wing Chun teacher getting into fights in the middle of a class. Now, I'm sure this isn't something that Renee was proud of, but it did happen. One of the fights was when someone from the Wushu class got into it with Renee while he was teaching his Wing Chun class. Now, my school where I study Wing Chun is known for its Wushu program. Some of the kids who came through there worked with Jackie Chan's stunt team, and some of them are probably working on all these Marvel movies coming out that feature a lot of Kung Fu, like the Shang-Chi movie. Now, since the Wushu program is basically what pays the bills there, some of the Wushu kids feel like that they're the big shot callers in the school, but it wasn't happening that day. I forgot the details, but Renee told this Wushu student to step outside and he dusted him up pretty easily. Now, the other time, all I know is there was some really big guy who challenged Renee while he was in the middle of teaching somewhere out in town in San Diego. So it wasn't at the school. The story I got was this big muscle-bound guy took a swing at Renee. Renee grabbed him with one arm and tossed him across the room like he was a child. Now, I have a feeling to onlookers who might have seen that big guy get thrown like that it didn't look like anything that resembles Wing Chun, whatever that means. But here's the thing, just like with Master Herkul, when it really goes down, it shouldn't look like Wing Chun in the movies. Wing Chun is not the stuff you see in the movies. It's something you are because it's about your structure and your ability to embody the principles. Knowing the principles doesn't matter at all if you can't do them. If you don't come away with anything else from this video, you're going to remember this. Wing Chun does not look like the movies. It's not supposed to look like the movies. Movies are fun. That doesn't mean the stuff you see in the movies is going to work in a real fight.
I do the stuff for the street.
Keanu Reeves uses a lot of what looks like Wing Chun blocks in The Matrix. Do you think someone is just going to stand there and let you block about 100 punches like you're Neo in The Matrix? I mean, I don't even think the style bender would try to do something like that in UFC. Now, I keep hearing people say, well, this doesn't look like Wing Chun, therefore it can't possibly work. It's got to look like Wing Chun. But I mean, go look at these real Wing Chun fights where some guy is out here holding up his Baijong and his Tan Sao, right? I mean, who's he going to stop looking like this? That's why some of my friends who grew disillusioned with Wing Chun keep saying, well, Wing Chun only works against Wing Chun. It doesn't work in a real fight. But I mean, if that's true, then, well, what does that say about Wing Chun's origin story? Now, if you don't know the origin story of Wing Chun, it goes like this. Ung Moy was a Buddhist nun from this Shaolin temple. She trains Miss Yim Wing Chun to fight some guy who's bigger than her. Ung Moy teaches Miss Yim a way for physically smaller people to produce enough force to beat this bigger guy in a fight. So, I mean, how can Wing Chun only beat Wing Chun if it was originally meant for this small woman to have a chance of beating some guy who's physically stronger than she is? I mean, I'm guessing that they weren't coming out in some position like Donnie Yen in the Ip Man movies, and they weren't trying to throw 10 chain punches per second at someone's head that lacked any kind of power. I mean, we're talking about a small Chinese woman here. She'd break her hand trying to hit someone that many times. I mean, Mike Tyson is one of the greatest boxers of all time, a heavyweight, and he broke his hand punching someone in the head. So this movie Wing Chun, That's for the movies. When you think about Wing Chun in a real fight, you need to block that stuff out of your mind.
I do the stuff for the street.
If you see a Wing Chun person get in a fight and they win, if they look like someone from a movie, I'm just going to say that this person got really lucky, or they're just a fighter and it wouldn't matter what they did, they'd still win.
I do the stuff for the street.
And see, here's the thing about why Wing Chun people are always getting beaten in these viral videos. And it's the biggest problem with Wing Chun as a whole. Wing Chun principles are grossly misunderstood. Look, what I'm about to say right now is considered blasphemy in the church of Bruce Lee. But Bruce Lee wasn't exactly this Wing Chun savant. And the same can be said for most of the young men who studied around the same time as Bruce Lee, who went on to teach and open their own schools before they were ready. Look, it's not a diss. It just is what it is. The problem is there are so many people who miss the idea that there's a lot of people who think they know what Wing Chun is because they saw it in a movie or a popular person on YouTube.
I do the stuff for the street.
But they don't really know the principles. I mean, sure, we all hear about this center line theory stuff and this stuff about triangles and wedges. But I mean, what do you really know? Like Master Herkul throws hook punches at Waldo, and people said that's not Wing Chun because it's not a straight punch. Master Herkul takes Waldo to the ground and they say, well, see, you should just learn BJJ because they don't know that throws and takedowns are in Wing Chun. And so are hooking punches. They don't recognize that at no point Master Herkul was not in control of the fight because they think the whole center line thing means you're supposed to take a Wing Chun structure and attack the literal center line of the guy that you're fighting. And why do people think that? Well, probably because some of them saw a picture in the Tao of Jeet Kune Do where Bruce Lee wrote about the center line theory. I mean, look, what's the difference between attacking the center line versus taking and controlling someone's center? The difference is trying to follow a principle versus actually doing the principle. It's like if I tell you about how to dribble a basketball between your legs and then you do it based on your interpretation of what you think that I'm saying versus going out there and putting the killer crossover or the shake and bake on someone like Tim Hardaway or Isaiah Thomas. They took an idea and made it completely their own because they were able to embody the principle. But this Kung Fu stuff, Kung Fu is about learning and understanding principles. Some of what Bruce Lee said, it is right on the money about this classical mess, disorganized nonsense stuff. When he's talking bad about forms, he's right about how people become robots and believe what they're doing is the gospel truth. They miss the idea. You can't make Wing Chun work in a fight because there's no understanding of the principles. You can't understand the principles if you have no structure, you have no foundation. So when you see someone who appears to have that structure, you can't say, well, I see nothing that resembles Wing Chun. Because how do you know? Just because everyone doing Wing Chun doesn't look like Master Wong doesn't mean what they're doing is not Wing Chun.
I do the stuff for the street.
And the only way that you can really know is to test their hands. So I still think Master Herkul was caught in a less than glorious moment when he smacked down Waldo. I wish that he could have resolved the situation in a way that was good for the both of them. But I mean, maybe this will make Waldo a little bit more humble in life going forward. Master Herkul will know how to handle a difficult student the next time it happens, or at least maybe he won't let it go viral on Facebook and on YouTube. But this opportunity also gave me a chance to address a big problem that I see in Wing Chun. Wing Chunners don't really understand the principles, and people who have never trained Wing Chun think that it's supposed to look like the Donnie Yen movies. Now, if you want to do Wing Chun and look cool, look, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're a Wing Chunner and you feel like you need to be stuck doing it only this one way, or else it's not Wing Chun, you're also contributing to the problem with Wing Chun. You need to understand the principles, embody the principles, and then make the art your own. Now, if you think what I'm saying is a bunch of BS, look, I'm just going to leave you with this thought. Augustine Fong is one of the most famous Wing Chun teachers in America. So why does he teach kicks from Choi Lee Foot Kung Fu? Because he took what he got from his master, Ho Kam Ming, and he made it his own. Why does my friend Ali up in Kentucky teach Wing Chun and boxing together? Because he was coaching boxers. His Wing Chun was already amazing. He made it his own. When you understand the principles and you embody the principles, you can do this. So go learn the principles. Stop contributing to the problem with Wing Chun. Now, I actually have a lot more to say on Wing Chun related topics, so you might want to check back for future videos on this topic. Also, be sure to check out the full breakdown and discussion on Master Herkul's fight with Waldo. That's if you haven't seen the video already. And hey man, shout out to Master Herkul for being a good sport about the whole thing. If you want to hear more on Wing Chun and Bruce Lee, yo, you should check out my video on Bruce Lee's real Wing Chun fighting skills. But hey, y'all keep training, remember to breathe, and I'll see you on the next video.